Hello and welcome to another episode of the Big Fish Theory. This is the post-match after Norwich. Leeds started the game in a 3-5-2 and Norwich in a 4-2-3-1. Buonanotte was benched again, and I think that's possibly the last time we'll see him. We haven't seen him really, have we? We've seen one half of football from him, but as now the FA Cup will become more serious as we've progressed, and the league, you're not going to test a player out in the league in the position that we are. I think that's Buonanotte done, to be fair. We made 9 changes, apart from Ampadu and the ever-amazing Gabriel Goodmanson, whose energy levels absolutely blow me away. Bourne now played at right back. Norwich started, they had some sharp one-touch football. You can see how they've improved since the beginning of the season when they were in relegation zone. We had Peru dropping quite deep, splaying a few balls out. After about 20 minutes, we started to get on front foot quite voraciously, actually. We have the first goal. Nonto presses on keeper. Keeper comes out for it a little bit. Poor decision making. He jumps and it does hit his arm, as then the ball drops and the bench pounces and scores, but it's called off for the handball. And fair enough, it was. Then a little bit later, Nonto shoots. He just puts it over bar, but that pressure was building. Nemecha, he turned inside at box. He put one over bar as well. So we really were building into the game, and you could see that quality that we've got over Norwich, which we would have had last season as well. So yeah, there's a penalty claim for Ampadu. And then Leeds, instead of moaning and groaning, they just continue to press. And as the ball comes through to Longstaff, wow, what a goal. He just flicks it, turns it, knocks it in. It's a wonderful goal. And yeah, maybe one of the best of his career. Very impressive, very impressive. It looks beautiful to watch again. Nonto then scores. He gets an header off a cross from James, but he's offside. And, he's only a bit offside, to be fair. It looked worse than it actually were in the end. So, Nonto had a good game. He really put some effort in. Goodmanson collects a deflected James cross that comes through, and he slots that away. And then we're good for the 2-0, but we have had ball back at net 4 times. But, pressure absolutely in control. And Peru keeps dropping back. We don't see him very often. And when we did see him, it's tended to be lower midfield side. But he did play some lovely balls out, like splay these balls out. And in that period was certainly Tanaka's best period as well. Tanaka really did. He started a little bit slowly, but he really grew into the game. And then second half, he started to drop off again. There's a lot of match sharpness, fitness issues. Obviously, we made 9 changes. Um, Obviously, Sean Longstaff as well. He made a real impression in that first half. Second half, we come out. Justin's on for ball now. That really wasn't working on the right hand side. I did check, and he has played right back for Wolfsburg a few times, but it didn't look natural for him. And he certainly doesn't have the pace to play that style of football that we do with those attacking wing backs. They had a chance. There's a lovely little flick from Magoma, and he turns, flicks it round, and Gibbs gets on it. And I think that's their first real effort. That's their first shot. And then we see Perry's absolute hammer a throw that he's got that, we've been waiting to see properly for ages. Unreal throw on him. I wouldn't want him to smack me. Stack, Bogle, and Strike come on for Longstaff, James, and Tanaka. A little bit later, Nonto turns. He plays in Peru, who, with the inside of his foot outside at box, generates so much power, and keeper just gets a finger to it to knock it onto crossbar, but it's one hell of a shot. And then there's a handball shout that just grazes his knuckle that, for me, it's not an handball. I don't want it to be given. Nemecha has a few more efforts, and then Stack wins a ball from our half, but yeah, middle of our half. He heads it down, he chests it, he makes this surging run with it, down left hand side, and he plays in Nemecha, who waits, plays Peruin, and there's nobody else in our squad. I know he doesn't have the levels necessarily required for Premier League, but there is no man in our squad you would rather have that ball at his feet in that position. He, Peru's fantastic at that, and he slots it away, and he gets his first goal since the 4 at Stoke. Um, so that's something to think about. Nemecha almost gets a couple. He almost nicks one towards end, a little scramble, and he can't get it. We win 3-0, and a good performance. There was only a small spell of Norwich really having any kind of threat with the side netting. But realistically, that was two different levels of squads, and especially when we changed it a little bit. I I think if we look at who we thought, or who I thought, sorry, really made a punt for having that shirt in a week's time, I thought Nonto were fantastic. I thought we saw a good 30 minutes of the Tanaka we all love. And Longstaff, fantastic, and definitely makes a shout for replacing Gruev probably, especially as a bit more forward thinking, and especially he just gets in the box, he drifts in there, he has a shot, and we are missing that a little bit, especially in Sunderland game. Uh, James is James is James. He's very good at what he does. He's so fast, and you see it a lot more against the Championship side. His pace is outstanding. And Nemecha, I thought Nemecha obviously didn't get his goal, but he put so much effort in, and he won a lot. And he wasn't really protected by referee, in all fairness, because there were quite a few dirty little challenges on him, scraping on back of his legs, standing on his toes. They give him a bit of an hammer in it first half, and you are watching it thinking, bloody hell, we all know his injury record. You know, I don't want that to be an issue. But he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You can really imagine him in a two with Calvert-Lewin, as we've seen before, just just playing off, like playing those balls through, winning balls, and I was really impressed with him, actually. Yeah, could be all. I think our centre back situation, especially when we play the 5-3-2 or 5-3-1-1, is that you see Biol, Rodan, and Strike. It's an absolute pleasure to have those three available. And as we've been playing Justin there, who's never put a foot wrong, but you have got to be looking at dropping. For me, you've got to drop Justin to bench at some point because we haven't got any other left back cover. You know, I hope Sam Byram gets some minutes to see out his contract and his season, but realistically, Goodmanson goes off. You need Justin to be available for that side. Bogle goes off. You need Justin to be available for that side. We don't really have that cover, and we're close to end now. And it'd be nice to just give him a little bit of a rest. He's had a bit of a battering last couple of weeks as well. But what a player! What a player for what we paid for him. And if you remember what Leicester fans were saying, like, wow, that were a bargain, absolute bargain. All in all, I thought it was a great performance. Realistically, we showed energy, new formation, new setup, and we showed what we can do if we really go for it. Which we saw it against City twice. We saw it against Liverpool. If we can put any side under pressure, if we really go for it, and you've got to look at this game, Wednesday game and Birmingham game. You never sat there and thought, well, they could start. They could start. There's a there's a case to be made. Whereas after this, you've really got options available saying, look, we're going into this. We've only got Okafor injured. We're looking very strong squad wise, depth wise. Obviously, we haven't got a massive squad, but we haven't got any injuries apart from Okafor. So realistically, you're looking at this thinking, I think we'll be all right. I really do. Um, I'm going to call my dad now and see what he thought. No doubt it'll be less, and there'll be something wrong with Farker. But for me, all in all, that was a good performance, and I enjoyed it a lot. And we've got a cup run. Thanks for joining. Well, that was a good game, and we're through to a quarter final finally. For first time since, well, bloody hell, it's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, not mentioned last quarter final that we went to when I had to, calm you down a bit.
That war, we lost 2-1 to Wolves. That was semi-final, weren't it? Or quarter-final?
I think it was quarter final. I can't remember. I remember we played quarter final at Wigan and licked them years ago. 2-0. Got through to semis against Coventry when we should have won, really. But yeah, yeah. It's a long time. Yeah, it's nice to have a cup run. What did you think of the match then? What did you think?
I thought we played well. It's quite a championship level squad. There were a lot of players from last season playing. I thought we took us goals well. I mean, ball weren't back at net more often than not. Obviously, there's two cancelled. But if I were going to look at certain players, because that's what idea, weren't it? You're looking at it that you should be beating them, but at the same time, you're looking at we need that squad depth and that availability. And is there anybody that really stood out for you that you thought, they could have a start?
Well, we'll start with goal because wow, that was a right cracker of a goal, wasn't it? That first one. Wow, I mean that if that were Barcelona or something, it'd be all over the internet there. It was just brilliant. What a turn and what a shot.
I mean, yeah, like Dennis Burkham. Sean Longstaff, like flicks it up, turns it. That's what it reminds you, isn't it? Burkham when he used
Great
to
goal.
curl around with ball.
I didn't realise how good it was at the time because we were at other end of the ground. Obviously, we were in cop, so I saw the ball go in, and then but then when I saw it back when I got on, I thought, oh wow, what a goal that was. But
Oh,
I agree with
fantastic!
you. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, 9 changes against the team really didn't test us. I thought first half they were really poor. I thought the support were good. I'll give them the jewel. They turned out on a Sunday afternoon at 4:30. Again, stupid kickoff times, all this crap. I thought support were brilliant from them. Uh, but they didn't really offer out, did they? They had a couple of that first 20 minutes. I thought we weren't very good, and then we settled into game, and then we looked better and we got stronger. And you thought, yeah, you could only see one team winning really. And then second half, sat back a little bit, probably. They had that chance at that far post that they would have put it wide. But other than that, really, I thought we played well. I thought we were okay. I thought there were players there that probably, if you look at Tanaka, we'll start with him, shall we? You
Yeah, he
know,
had a good spell. It took him a while to settle into game, and second half, you could see he started. He was misplacing passes again, but that middle spell where you Tanaka, where he used to collect ball and he'd turn with his body and hold it and play it out. We don't have
I
many
think there's
players that
you know what
spread ball.
I think with Tanaka, I think he needs a pre-season where they just work on him now, a bit like Perry. With Perry, so you're looking to what Perry really didn't have hope to do, did he? So
Yeah,
you know,
we
so
saw
Perry's
long
not going to
throw. We saw that massive long throw
couple
we
of times.
got.
Yeah. I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, as well, one of the lads said, Sean, he said that he thinks he's lost a bit of weight as well.
right. Oh, yeah, fair enough. I didn't look at that now.
Yeah, well, he also said he thought he'd had hair transplant.
Yeah, he has had hair transplant. Yeah,
He has,
I'm,
has he?
I'm, I'm considering it myself. Yeah, he has. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't you remember at the beginning of
yeah.
the
I think
season he
yours
had a
might.
few wisps?
Yeah, did it? I think to be honest with you, yours might cost a few more quid than his.
No, it's been gone long enough for me to be bothered about it anymore. I
Yeah,
mean, what
well,
about
well,
also Peru gets his goal? Last time he scored? Well, that 4-0, that 4 goals in first half against Stoke.
all right.
Yeah, that's last time he scored. But did
He's
you
not
see
been
that one
playing
where he
though.
hits crossbar?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
inside of his foot, that
But we're rating
generates
out
all
the
that power. Yeah.
I think the thing is with Ray is an instinctive player, isn't he? He's one of these players where you give him a second bang and he scores,
Mm.
bang, he shoots. That's what he does, Peru. You can see it, but that goal were right in front of us. And it was a lovely ball from Metton as well, in fairness. Weighted to perfection and just never, just you could see it goalie where he just kind of killed it in. It was a good goal, but what about his overall performance?
Yeah, like first half, he seemed to be dropping back quite deep. And he did spread a couple of
It's
balls out with
did
outside
well.
of his foot, which I quite like. But apart from that, he went missing for large parts. But like, I mean, Nemetra I thought were fantastic. Like also for that goal, Peru's goal, the Stack winning ball, he knocks it down and then he chests it and carries on with it. That's a surging run from Stack. You see
It
that
is, yeah.
quality when we make changes that comes
You
on.
know the thing
That's
is, Ray,
real
if
difference.
you look at it, Ray, we've a couple of players there, Ray, that we've got for virtually out, and you've got
Mm.
Nemetra, Ray, who play for Man City but were injury prone, but you can see quality in him, can't you? And then
Oh,
you look, obviously Calvert Lewin didn't play yesterday, but you can see quality in Calvert Lewin, if you know
yeah.
what I mean. You can see why they were they would have, commanded a lot of money if it had to be for injuries, kind of thing. They haven't
Yeah.
got that bit of quality out there, them two. And I think Nemecha, for me, going forward to Palace game, I play him up front with, just off Calvert Lewin.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And I think thing
Definitely.
is, if it's
Because I
not
think that,
working, go on.
oh, no, you go.
If it's not working, I think you could put Nonto on, to be honest, because I thought Nonto played rather well. He were unlucky with handball. He were unlucky with his header. Uh, like for 2 goals that got disallowed were both him. But yeah, I thought he were quite tenacious. He worked hard. He kept going, and he played a few decent balls in, to be honest. And James again, he like you see what it is with James when he's playing against a championship side. That pace that he's got is it's astronomical.
The other thing is as well, I think there's more to come from James. He's been in and out of side all season with injury, and I think once he's fully up to speed, I think, and we're going to need him last 9 games. In fairness, well, it'll be 10 games, isn't it? With what they call it. We're now at quarter final, but with last 9 games, I think we're going to need him if we're going to stop up, kind of thing. And I think he did
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. I didn't think he did all wrong at all. You look at side. Who would you say was most disappointing?
Uh, I
Whether
would
Chelsea,
I would say Tanaka, but not because I think he was most disappointing. I think because I just we all loved him so much last year, and I was so looking forward to seeing him more this year. And then
it's a
obviously he
different class,
struggled
though,
with
isn't it?
physicality.
It's a different class, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I think obviously Bourne out at right back that didn't really work out. Uh,
Well, I mean, he took him off, but right back, and I noticed James were covering it right back just odd time.
mm,
If you noticed, he were down in that position a couple of times.
yeah,
Uh, I don't know. It's a tough one with him, really.
right back.
Whether Yeah, because the thing is, right, so let's move on, right? So last 9 games of the season, if Leeds stay up, then they've got to strengthen that squad. Who goes to strengthen the squad? That's the question. And did
Of
they do
course.
enough? Did they do enough, these players? Because they are Fringe players, and he's got to play him for me. He does have to play him because, how can I say, you can't have a squad at 22 and not play at 22. You've got to play him in cup games because of the squad, aren't they? So I don't buy all this other men 9 changes. Well, actually, you've got 20 odd players in your squad. We've got more actually, but you've got it's probably, and you've got to keep them happy and keep group happy, kind of thing. So you have to play these players, but the question is who do we think will be there next season? Will Nonto be there? Will Tanaka be there? No, will goalkeeper be there? Will they carry
With
on working on
goalkeeper,
him?
yeah, because I think with
You think he'll be
Tanaka,
there? You see, Darlow's had a contract end of season. I
but they'll
think this
sign
is
him up to another. Like with Darlow, I wouldn't consider a worry that they're not going to sign him up to another contract. I think
if he
with
wants to
his
sign, if he wants to be
performances,
number 2.
but is he going to be? I mean, twice now he's been number two and whipped him saying into first position both seasons. Uh, that must give you some confidence, and it's not like he's let us down at any point. Like sometimes you have them heartbeat moments when he comes out to it, but bloody hell he commits.
I
Like
think he's a good goalkeeper. I'll tell
yeah,
you what I think about Darlow. I think the thing is when you play full squad, and you've got, because he's in Wales squad, you've got James, you've got Anthony, you've got Rodon. You know, he knows back four. He knows back four, if you know what I mean. So because he's got these players, these Welsh players playing with him, kind of thing, he does. They do know each other, don't they? And I think that
yeah,
helps the goalkeeper.
yeah, of course. Like that, I mean, that's why they struggle so much when you come to cup games and they do make these 9 changes. That they and that we all say like, oh, they've not got quite that match sharpness sort of thing, and it does take them a while to get in. And you see it with a weekend like last weekend with Sunderland that when players come on, the first couple of passes are a bit misplaced until they get into run of things. I think Longstaff's made a good shout for replacing possibly Gruev. Uh, Similar players, but he gets a bit more forward, doesn't he? Longstaff, and
I
obviously that
just
goal
think
was fantastic.
Yeah, I just think if you look at game, and because it not kind of unleashed them, but kind of split wingers, well, called wingers, old-fashioned wingers, but you've got James, you've got Nonto. We look at far more threatening side, and I think going on from here, you go back to that Sunderland game you just said. I mean, we watched Sunderland game at pub before game. When they lost to Port Vale.
Yeah,
How did we not beat them? They made two
Does that
changes. That's all they made, Sunderland. They made two changes. How do we not beat them? And I genuinely still think, right, analyse game and analyse our season. There's points that we've lost that you can't put down to manager Bournemouth, last minute. Fulham, unlucky with that. But if we do get relegated, there's points that, that we should have won. Everton away should have been changed on 70 minutes. I mean, he normally changes it. So he left until they scored. Them 2 points could cost you. Like Sunderland, yet again, I know he fetched Nemetron, but to fetching Nemetron, he just waited and waited and waited, and then they scored. And if you look at yesterday, we look a threat that wins. That's where our threat comes from, doesn't it?
also with Bogle and Goodmanson? I mean, Goodmanson, what man of match by far. He gets
Yeah,
his
well,
goal, he gets his assist, but yeah, it's just relentless, isn't it? Some of them runs, those I don't know where he gets energy from. Especially seeing as we've got no cover for him whatsoever. I mean, incredible fitness levels.
I
But
think that's it.
if you had to pick two players that were, that could be considered for a start next week, who would you pick?
James straight away.
Sorry?
Probably James straight away.
Yeah, James and
And I
Nemec.
think you're right. I think Longstaff probably for Grua. The thing is with that Palace game, our record in London's appalling. Our record this season away actually is not very good. We've won one game. Our Wolves early do us right. So we need a win away from home from somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
for
the
sure.
Spurs will win a few. What we don't want is last two away games is Spurs away and West Ham away. We do not want to be going to London. 3 points above Spurs and 3 points above West Ham because you don't want that. Not with our record, not just in London, but as a away record as well. So we have to pick a win up from somewhere. I still think 4 home games, right? So you win 3 out of 4, maybe, right? That's 9 points. Probably a point or two in other home games. They're all winnable games, in
Yeah,
fairness, right? That's 10 points. That should be enough. But I do think we need a result away from home. And if we got something at Palace, a win, that'd be huge. That'd be
yeah,
huge. And certainly if you look at fixture list this weekend as well, because if we don't, and we're only in position we are now going into Tottenham game and going into West Ham game, you worry. So looking at yesterday, you're thinking you're a bit more attacking.
mm.
You know,
I
that
mean, I
what
think you
in
get
fact it's
that.
funny.
Yeah,
We
go
were
on.
talking to lads around where we were. I mean, a lot of them were new lads because obviously the cup games, all season ticket holders around us. There were only us actually and one behind us. And the rest were just, got tickets for cup game like. Uh, and we were talking about it and we're saying that basically if you look at side he put out against Sunderland, it was just defensive side. In a game where
I know.
they were out of form, players missing. We should have gone for that. And I think if we'd have gone with, I'm not saying you don't go make mass changes. Don't get me wrong, but if you'd have gone with a bit more width and got balls, I think we'd have won that game against Sunderland.
I mean, you also saw it when he made changes at 70th minute, but that was same again yesterday. That
Well,
I figured you'd be going mental. That you're seeing them and you're thinking, this needs changing now. They're starting to get into it a bit with 2 goals ahead. You're comfortable, but they start to put a couple of balls into the box. They have that one that just goes under, like just it's side netting, and that's Slimani, and you start thinking, bloody hell, like they're getting a bit in here, and it needs changing. And I wrote down somewhere in my notes, like, it needs changing. It's needed changing for 10 minutes, but there's another 5 minutes till 70th minute. And I think players come on at 69:50. Like, that's what it was. And I understand, that they've obviously got some data sets or whatever that this is a priority time to do it. But you've got to look at game. It's the same when you look at, I do data for when I'm doing, when I do like write about each game, like reviews and stuff like that. And you look at data, and then you're looking at game that you've watched, and you're thinking this isn't right, because that eye test, no matter what, you see what they're trying to do. You see, your strikers are gonna give away. They're gonna have a worse pass accuracy. If you're trying to spread balls deep and playing that long ball, your wing backs and your defenders and your midfielders are gonna have a worse accuracy. If you look at the game, which obviously Farker is, you've got to think. Excuse me. You've got to think, bloody hell, this needs changing here. I could spark it up a bit. And you've got absolute Premier League quality on bench waiting for it. And you saw when it does come on, the
let's
difference.
ask this question then, because this what it put before game in Peacock before game. is even if we stop up, do you think they'll sack him?
No, no, I won't sack him. Look, the only thing that bothers me about him is that his substitutions, because he keeps squad happy, he's respectful, he's obviously respected by players. They, he cared about him. He's proved that he can change, that he's not that stubborn, and he might have reverted a little bit back into it now. But I think if that game, if Norwich has shown us out, is that if he does change it, there's options. I think he's a fantastic manager. He's points per game. He's done really well. And you were always going to be in a relegation battle, and we're out of it a little bit better than what we were expecting to be. And there's definitely more teams in that relegation battle than I were expecting. With like Spurs, Forest, and what's it called, West Ham. I weren't expecting there to be one of 4 clubs that's going to go down. Figured Burnley would go down, and we all thought Wolves would be in a better situation at how they finished season last year. I didn't think Spurs would be down there again, and with West Ham that were a possibility. But now we're 1 in 4 clubs that'll go down, and we're 3 points ahead. That's not a bad position to be in, especially when we've spent less than pretty much bleeding everybody.
I agree with that totally, right? And I agree with you say about Fark, and I like him as a person. I think supporters recognise him and appreciate what he's done. But it's the one worry that in games that I still revert back to that Everton game. If we go down with 2 points, I think that everybody was screaming for him to change that. First half, absolutely. I mean, we should have gone 2-0 up. We can't point far post. Didn't go 2-0 up. They came out. He made changes. They were on top of us, and you could see where if we could see it, why could Fark see it? That's the issue I have with him. Not as a person, but he just and he left it till they scored. And then they scored, and then he thought, oh no, and then he left it a bit longer, and then he changed it, and then that last 5 minutes we were just attacking, blah blah blah. And same happened with Sunderland. And I'm sat there, we're all stood there at half time, Sunderland Max. Well, they've got us here. They're playing ball, they're defending really well. They're not going to create.
Wasting.
But you could see what were happening. And the interview after as well, right? And he said, oh, we peppered him with shots. What are you saying game as our? We had 1 shot for stage, and that was a free kick, which he passed round. We didn't pepper him with shots. We only peppered him with shots when he changed it when we were knocked down.
And we didn't put balls in the box right often, and why are you not going to do that?
That's the issue I have. Thinking, would a more experienced, technically minded manager see these things coming before? I don't want to get rid of him, and I won't get rid of him. But I think pre-season, if we stop up, he has to learn. He's got to evolve with side, because if he don't, I think they'll get shut at him.
I think he is learning, and he's keep proving that. And we've just come
Well,
out of one of the toughest periods.
Well, I understand. I agree with what you said, but he's gone back again. He seemed to learn after Man City. The last few games, he's gone back. He's thought, well, actually, let's.
In fairness, Man City game, we did quite well in all fairness, and it's Man City.
But you're right. But you go back this technical data, right? All this technical data crap and stuff like this, and we'll change on 70 minutes. But that don't take into account that other team might score. We're still waiting for 70 minutes.
But there's no perfect manager out there that you're going to get. Apart from his substitutions, I think that realistically, he's one hell of a manager. I'm a big fan, to be honest. But anyway,
listen. I'm not one of these who's going to bash him because I'm not. So I like him as a person as well. To be honest with you, I think he's level-headed. He's really, but it does frustrate me. It does frustrate you when you can see it yourself. I mean, I'm no manager and stuff like that, but you can see it and you're thinking, just change it now. We can see what's happening. And that Norwich game yesterday, right? Yeah, we were all over them. But if they'd have scored at that far post, 2-1, they'd have been up. And then you'd have been thinking, you'd have been looking at your watch, extra time, penalties, blah, blah, blah. And he missed that chance at that far post, and then obviously we came back into the game again. So it's a funny one, really. I think he's learning, and he is learning, and they gave him a chance. But it depends as well where board what club to go. What do they want? What club? Do they want us to be mid-table, bottom half all time? Do they want us to challenge for Europe? What do they want?
I mean, at the moment, I think they're hoping for an FA Cup final, and me too. And
Yeah, but you were listening to him yesterday, actually, and after the game, and he was, dismissing it, kind of thing. We've got bigger fish to fry, kind of, interview after. And I think
results.
It's bigger fish to fry for him. Bloody hell, we've been to Wembley for cup final. I mean, a proper cup final. So it's 96. I'm not talking about playoffs because we're not
Oh,
going here
Villa.
then.
I remember that, yeah.
Villa, that was a
That was,
debacle.
yeah. I
But
remember you
best bit
complaining
about that
about.
day, best bit about that day, well, what they call it, were uh, uh, going to pubs before. Seen
Yeah,
Batman
yeah,
run
well, I
down the road
couldn't,
and stuff.
couldn't drink at that age, but I remember you complaining about how much my hot dog cost. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. And just before we go, who do you want next round?
Poor Vale.
Port Vale. All right, Father. Have
Yeah,
a good one.
yeah, right. Before you go, you know what's going to happen. Arsenal will get Port Vale, right? Liverpool will get Southampton, and we'll get Arsenal.
Chelsea's still in it. I'll take Chelsea.
No, I won't now. I'd like
And we've got
final.
their number.
Now, at least Chelsea final. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I'd love that. I'd
Oh,
love that. Yeah. Honestly, that'd be a
yeah,
final in it. We still
that'd
owe
need some
them.
heavy policing.
I'm older than you. I remember the 70s. We owe them big time. That's it.
All right.
See you later.
Have a
Bye.
good one. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
The Big Fish Theory, a Leeds United podcast.